Hello everyone, welcome to my visual analytics presentation of FIFA 20, Who is the GOAT of the soccer game. First, let me walk you all through a bit about the game background. We all know that soccer game is one of the most popular sports worldwide. The first ever FIFA football simulation video game was released in 1993 by EA Sports. And I would say that they've done a pretty good job in making the players as realistic as possible in the game. So we can say that FIFA games are fiction full of authenticity. The real game structure, however, is unknown to many because of the lack of large-scale dataset. So we can basically use these game datasets to understand the game structure really well, and it also helps many specialists and fans to predict the outcome of the upcoming games. The dataset was collected from Kaggle and it had pretty much everything that I was looking for. It contains details about more than 17,000 players, 100 football clubs, and 30 licensed leagues. And I didn't have to clean up the dataset manually because it didn't have that many missing values, and I could just import the text file to Tableau straight away without having to struggle. So my ultimate goal here is to find the GOAT of the soccer game. So before that, I would like to find answer to a few questions such as world's top 25 clubs, top 10 soccer players worldwide, these soccer players' position, country, and the club. Then we'll come down to top 3 players to compare them based on their skills, and from there we are going to find who the real GOAT is. Now let's get into the first visualization. This visualization is of the top 25 clubs in the soccer games based on their maximum overall rating, and we can see that FC Barcelona is at the top, followed by Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain. We can also see that all the famous clubs such as Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, etc. are also in the top 25 list. Now this is a bar graph of top 10 players in the soccer game based on their average overall rating given by EA Sports. From this bar graph, it's pretty clear that Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar Jr. are the top 3 players. And I also have considered mentioning the wages of each player in here. And we can see that Messi is paid the most compared to all other players. And I'll be using the same color code for all the players going forward. Here I've created 3 scatter plots to analyze players' position. We have best forwards, best midfielders, and best defenders. For best forwards, I've considered finishing and best forward attributes. And for best midfielders, I've considered vision and best passing. And for best defenders, I've considered interceptions and best defense attributes. For best forwards, the best forward attribute is actually a calculated field, and I've considered shot power, skill moves, special, and volleys. For best midfielders, I've considered best passing, and that is actually the average of short passing and long passing. And for best defenders, I've considered sliding tackle, standing tackle, positioning, and reactions. This scatter plot for best forward will look slightly different than the previous one because I had to add subs in the list to show Hazard's position. And in this data set, he's considered one of the subs because he was injured or something. And here we can see that most of the best players' position is forwards, and we only have 2 players in different positions. That is K. De Bruyne, he is one of the best midfielders, and we have Van Dijk, he's one of the best defenders. And the graph wouldn't show position of J. Oblak's and Alisson's because they are goalkeepers. Now, after analyzing the player's position, I wanted to see if there is any correlation between players' preferred foot and their ball skills. So for that, I created another scatter plot of dribbling versus ball control. We can see that Messi prefers his left foot and he's at the top of the list with the highest average, followed by Neymar Jr. and E. Hazard. But Neymar and E. Hazard prefer their right foot. So from this graph, I found out that the preferred foot has nothing to do with how good the player is. And there are only 2 players in the top 10 who prefer their left foot, that is Lionel Messi and Mohamed Salah. Rest all the players prefer their right foot. You can see that in this graph. Top 10 players and their country and club. This is a geospatial map that spots a player's country and club that they belong to. Here we can see that Messi is from Argentina and he is playing for FC Barcelona. We have 2 Brazilian players. One is Neymar Jr. who's playing for Paris Saint-Germain, and we have Alisson who's playing for Liverpool. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's from Portugal and he's playing for Juventus. We have 2 Belgian players. One is K. De Bruyne, he's playing for Manchester City, and we have E. Hazard who's playing for Real Madrid. We have our Lewandowski, who's playing for the club FC Bayern München. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the names wrong. And his nationality is Poland. And we have Oblak, and we also have Salah, who's playing for Liverpool, and his nationality is Egypt. Now, to obtain the map, I had to create calculated fields and parameters. This is to show multiple players in the exact location without overlapping. For example, I have two Brazilian players in here. Now, these two players were overlapping when I used generated longitude and latitude. So to arrange them apart from each other, I had to use parameters that are jitter factor and vertical horizontal. And I also have to add some coding in the calculated fields for latitude and longitude. Now the competition is between Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar Jr. Do we have any guess as to who it is? Well, let's find out together. To find this out, I have created a dashboard for each player to compare their superior skills, age, weight, value, etc. So the first dashboard that we are going to analyze is of Lionel Messi's. And we know that Lionel Messi is one of the most experienced and loved players in the soccer game. He's 32 years old, paid the highest, and the value is comparatively high as well. And when we consider the skills, we can see that Messi is rated about 90 in almost all the skills except penalties. Now, our next player is Neymar Jr. Neymar Jr. is younger than the other two players, so his value is a lot higher. And also, his stamina will be a tad higher than the other two players. Neymar's wage is less than Messi and Ronaldo's. Now, he has about 90 rating in dribbling, ball control, and penalties. And for the rest skills, he has about 80, which is pretty good. Our last player is Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players with a huge fan base. He is the oldest among the other two, and CR is given a 90 plus in finishing, long shots, and ball control. And for dribbling and penalties, Ronaldo has a score about 80, and for long passing and balance, he has given a rating about 70. Considering all the dashboards, I have to say each player has skills that they excel at, so I respect them all for their hard work and talent. Now, without further ado, I'm going to announce the name of the greatest of all time. Yes, it is Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time. Here are the two lollipop charts that I used to conclude my analysis. From these charts, we can see that Messi is given the highest rating considering the average of all the skills that I've mentioned in the dashboard. And I also created a separate graph to show you all the average of players' overall rating. And we can see that Messi has the highest overall of 94, followed by Ronaldo 93 and Neymar 92. Now, when I consider the average of both skills and overall, we can see that Messi is still in the number one position. Neymar takes the second position and Cristiano Ronaldo takes the third. It is pretty clear that Messi is the GOAT. Now, to create these graphs, I had to create some calculated field. One is skills average. For this one, I've considered the average of all the skills that I've mentioned in the dashboard. And for who is the GOAT calculated field, I've considered the average of all the skills as well as the overall. Now, I just want to tell all the soccer fans who are listening to this presentation, please don't be disappointed if you are a Neymar or Ronaldo or any other soccer player's fan. I mean, if they're playing for one of the soccer team, that means they are the great, okay? By saying that, I'm concluding my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Please let me know what you thought about the presentation. Let me also know if you agree that FIFA game dataset is similar to that of the actual soccer game. And I'll be happy to take any comments and suggestions from you guys. Thank you again. Have a great day.